How does falling in love change the rest of your life? Finding someone that you connect with, want to learn more about, and eventually become a partner to is a life-changing event, a reorientation of priorities and direction. The same goes in romance anime, where falling in love can either be an inciting action for the rest of the story, or a climactic moment that is slowly built up to. Regardless, it is a world-shifting occurrence. To be completely honest, I was skeptical that I would enjoy Sign of Affection when I first decided to try it. The character designs with the super defined mouths took a minute to get used to, but once it was clear that mouth articulations were going to be a big part of the plot, I was way more into it. And by the time I was a few episodes in, I was staying up way too late needing to see the next installment of Yuki and Itsuomi's romance. It's an incredibly sweet story, and saves most of the difficult moments for characters outside of our main pairing. I worry sometimes that a strategy like this will lose intrigue the longer the series goes on, but for this first season, having all of these interesting side plot lines was definitely a plus. What I really enjoyed about this anime though, is what it says about how love impacts our lives and our identities. We all live in our own worlds, where we are the main characters of our stories. So what does it mean when we find someone else that we want to spend the rest of our lives with? How do these two worlds collide? And what does it mean for your old self when you enter someone else's story? And maybe most importantly, what happens to all of this if that love is unrequited? Let's talk about it. Yuki and Itsuomi are in some ways complete opposites. Itsuomi is extremely worldly, speaking multiple languages and always traveling. He's a social butterfly, constantly running into people that he knows and making new friends. He always seems level-headed as well, with a cool demeanor that appears impenetrable. Yuki, on the other hand, lives an internally focused life. This is in large part due to her deafness, in the ways that it isolates her from those outside of her social circle. She hasn't traveled much as a result, and has a small group of friends. She's easily flustered, and spends many of her inner monologues in some state of anxiety. But for as much as she and Itsuomi differ, they are the same in the most important ways. They are introspective, not afraid to face their feelings and embrace the love in their hearts. They're intensely curious about each other's lives, and want desperately to explore and become a part of their world. That last point is key. Sign of Affection's core tenet is that to love someone is to want to be a part of their world. Not just want, but to need to do so. Yuki is intimidated by the expansive scope of Itsuomi's world, but that doesn't stop her from jumping into it. She wants to learn more about what he's seen, what motivates him to explore like he does, and to travel with him herself. Even something smaller in scope, like meeting Shin, is becoming a part of his world. I love the question that Yuki asks Itsuomi when they first walk to the train station together. Do you think the world is a big place? I know that the following moments cement their budding romance, but this question really sticks with me. It's about her own curiosity, sure, but I think it's really a question about Itsuomi's world. Is his world a big place? Is there room for her in it? His follow-up, asking to become a part of Yuki's world, is validation of this idea. A lot of Yuki's thoughts are about Itsuomi being a guide into the wider world, but I think it's more about him letting her into his own. For as extroverted as he can be, at a deeper level he is closed off to basically everyone but Yuki. So while giving her coins from other countries is expanding her own world a little, it's special because it's about showing her more of himself. This point is drawn into clearer focus looking at the relationship in the other direction. On the surface, Yuki is in a small world. She doesn't venture outside of the same few places and keeps a small social circle. But this is obviously wrong. Everyone has their own story, none more important than the other. Itsuomi has the same desire to become a part of Yuki's world that she does in return. It's why he works to learn sign language, asks her about her life growing up, and tries to see her literally whenever he can. "What is it that I can provide to you?" he asks in the closing moments of the season. Both Itsuomi and Yuki are enraptured by their opposite worlds, and each other as the shining star at the center of it. They're just trying to fit into them, without realizing how important they already are. It's sweet, and is a selfless view of what it means to love someone that I find really interesting. This idea isn't restricted to just Yuki and Itsuomi though. Oshi, Yuki's childhood friend, is defined by his relationship to her world. In a similar way to Itsuomi, Oshi learns sign language to become closer to Yuki. His love for her keeps him close to her as they grow up, present in her world. But Yuki doesn't come to love Oshi back, at least not in a romantic way, and this complicates things. If loving someone means entering their world, Oshi is stuck in Yuki's world as she gets together with Itsuomi. He's loved her for so long that his personality has been shaped by her. He struggles to figure out what his relationship is to sign language now that being with Yuki isn't an option. He can't reconcile the kindness that Itsuomi shows him with the hatred he feels for the situation he's in. Oshi, like both of our main characters, has changed his own world to become a part of Yuki's, put it to the side as his love for her grew. When that love is unrequited though, it draws attention to how small he is in Yuki's world in comparison to Itsuomi, and questions his very identity. Emma and Shin are further examples of this idea. Emma has been hopelessly in love with Itsuomi since school, and suffers a similar fate to Oshi when she learns about Yuki. Loving Itsuomi for so long has made it a part of her identity, and she has spent all of these years trying to become a larger part of his world. The exact same thing is true for Shin, with the added layer of knowing Emma's love for Itsuomi the entire time. Love is a wonderful thing, but it can become torturous when it bubbles under the surface for so long. It's telling that Emma has such a crisis of conscience when Shin finally confesses to her. It's asking for a shift in her entire mindset, a reorienting of her world to line up with his. Love is a driving force in this story, a desire to connect with someone in a way that shakes up the rest of your life. Sign of Affection is all about love. Basically, every character is in love with someone else, and the story beats are dictated by the development of each one of those relationships. The defining feature of love in this anime, though, is about the impact love has on the rest of your life. If we are all living in our own worlds every day, worrying about the shape and rhythm of our own stories, love is the force that makes you want to become a part of someone else's. It allows us to put our own self-importance to the side, and try to support and learn about the other's story. It's no wonder that so many of the episode titles in Season 1 echo this idea. Yuki's world, Oshi's world, our world. Love shapes our lives, and Sign of Affection wants to bring attention to that. This framing also gives deeper meaning to heartbreak. Working to become a part of someone else's life like that makes rejection even more devastating, and unmooring at a fundamental level. All in all, I like this presentation of love. It adds stakes to the equation, and gives gravity to a force that comes to define many of our lives. And that ends this week's episode of Love and Anime. If you enjoyed, liking and subscribing helps a ton, as does hitting the hype button on the mobile app. If I can offer my own recommendation for once, I encourage you to check out This Monster Wants to Eat Me, which is airing right now. The mixture of melodrama, horror elements, and romance is unlike anything I've really seen, and the soundtrack is really cool too. Worth trying a few episodes at least. As always, I'm SlamAnime, and have a great rest of your day.